Okay, this is Second Life. I don't know if you've ever experienced Second Life, but it's definitely worth looking at. You know, most of the people I know say, well, yeah, whatever, and it's not that fun to be there. But to my mind, the funness of it isn't really the most important part about Second Life. The most important part about Second Life is really sitting here in this rubric. How does Second Life stack up in terms of being a virtual reality world? And specifically, how does it compare to something like World of Warcraft? So what does it have? On the input fidelity side, it pretty much is the same as World of Warcraft, right? It's sight and hearing, and that's about what you get. You don't really get touch or smell or any of the other ones. And notice we haven't found many that do give you all of that stuff. So you get seeing and hearing, and that's about what you get from World of Warcraft. But now look at the list of output effectivenesses that you have. Speaking, making other sounds, writing, well, that's still all like World of Warcraft, but facial expressions, body language, all the movement, hand gestures, dress and accoutrement. The only thing you don't really get from Second Life is odor, right? You don't get to emit an odor, and maybe they'll put that in there at some point. But other than that, you pretty much can have the same impact on the world, and that's exactly the idea of Second Life. It's a Second Life, and all the effectiveness, all the things, all the kinds of behaviors that you exhibit in normal life are the ones exactly that they want to have in that virtual experience. And the fidelity is really the same, more or less, as it is in World of Warcraft, that it's high speaking and high writing fidelity, it's low locomotion, and it's low on all these other effectivenesses and all these other outputs, all these other behaviors are low fidelity. They're not like how you really do them. But again, how you do them is less important in the long run. As long as you get used to it and you want to believe that you're there, how you do it is much less important than that you can do it. So how would I contrast a Second Life to a World of Warcraft? Second Life really strives to reproduce all of the outputs of normal life, of actual life, and World of Warcraft doesn't. World of Warcraft may someday get to all of these things. I'm sure they would rather have them than not, but it's not really the point. Adrenaline is the point of World of Warcraft, and the point of Second Life is a reproduction, a simulation of all the things that happen in life. So again, you get medium to high belief. So people are into it. People want, people after enough practice really start to believe they're there, and they live in that world as if they were living somewhere else, just like in a video game. And they can get a high immersion out of it. They can get a high immersion, but the vast majority of people who don't put in that much practice into it never get to that level of immersion. So what's immersion about? How is that starting to formulate in your mind from all these examples that I've given you? What I'd like to say is that immersion, What I'd like to say is that immersion really keys into this idea of belief. And if I believe really strongly, I can get immersed, even if there's very little going on. But it certainly helps if I have more outputs in line. It helps me to feel like I'm being immersed in a reality that's a true reality, that's like my life.